consultation that the community and what the community asked for. So really happy to support the resolutions that have been put.
Okay. All good. Right. Okay. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. 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 Those opposed say no. That's carried. Item 33, changes to committees. I'd like to amend this by adding in a third, which is amending the terms of reference for the insurance subcommittee to consider the cost-sharing agreement with government in light of the global settlement of the insurance and make recommendations back to council.
Yeah, happy to.
And seconded by Jamie. So there are 3 items on here. So I'm happy to move the resolution, and Jamie seconds it. So there are 3 components to it. One is the District Plan Review Committee, which if you could delete Ali Jones from the list of ones, I was quite keen to have people across the different wards, and Pauline's put her name up, so yes, you can thank Pauline for that.
Just said it, I owe her. She gave us some spuds yesterday. We're fine.
Right, and that's really because and the nature of the work that we're doing has changed, obviously, with things in the hands of the independent hearings panel. And a more focused group with the ability to come back to council if we need to is, I think, a much better idea. But I mean, it doesn't stop councillors from turning up to the meetings. It's just those are the members of the committee. Amending the terms of reference for the Audit and Risk Management Committee, that was to provide for the independent members of the Audit and Risk Management Committee to review the draft long-term and annual plans to identify any risks that may be present. And that's the function of the Audit and Risk Management Committee. But given that councillors are on those committees, that committee, it made sense to make that a function purely of the independent members. And that way you've got fresh eyes, separate from the council itself, putting their eye over the annual plans, the long-term plans, just to identify those areas of risk. And then the insurance subcommittee, its work is coming to a close. It isn't completely wrapped up yet, but just to now reflect on the cost-sharing agreement, I think I'll never forget when we sat in this room, you know, sort of locked doors, and the lawyers at the end of it, as we were disclosed a copy of the cost-sharing agreement for the very first time as brand new councillors, having just been elected. And Vicky Buck was sitting over this side, and I'll never forget it because it's etched in my memory. But her reading out the clause that said that our commitment to the to the provisions of or our contribution to the different projects was regardless of what we got by way of insurance recoveries. And I remember her reading it out and saying, does this mean what it sounds like it means? And there was this silence across the room as we all reflected on what that meant for the city. So I think it's important that the insurance subcommittee reflects on the cost share agreement with government in light of the global insurance settlement and reports back with recommendations to council.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Great.
Right. Yanni.
Yeah, just note on the district plan, there's no representation from Whenua Waimaori. So, I mean, it does seem if you wanted to get a view across the city, and I actually think, given that the district plan does affect the entire city, it is important.
Jamie was the former chair, wasn't he?
Yeah. Has to be.
Natural choice.
Natural choice.
Can we toss a coin?
I actually think the one thing that you haven't got on there but was agreed is that we'd actually have a summary of what's going on.
Yeah, you know,
so
we
it's all happening.
It's just changing the subject. The deflection, Jamie.
That's exactly.
Oh no, we had
hearing. No,
exactly.
No, we got a summary. We got a very short summary done with a week's notice.
As long as these are done.
But that's the next thing that we want to do, is to actually have a complete summary of everything that we've got to.
Exactly.
And what else needs to be done.
And the other thing, like with any committee as well.
I'm passionate about. I'm going to put you on it.
I specifically am not going to be on this, but because the whole thing and the V-based thing as well. This is. I seriously need to make sure that you're doing a good job of everything, and yeah, house move, marriage, and all that sort of stuff aside, workload management is important.
Where's your priority?
No, exactly. Well, my priority is I'm a councillor. I'm a councillor first and foremost, and you need to be able to do your job. So with this, no one's precluded from being there. If there's something, no, I won't.
Ref to the
He's got housework.
If there is something on there that directly affects our ward, we can be there and we can contribute to it.
No, you're on or you're not.
Come on,
Ref, put his hand up.
Ref Manji.
All right, well, Ref will do
Welcome,
this.
Ref.
So I was just...
Supply
I think it's
Ref off.
important. I mean, if the former deputy chair of the committee doesn't want to be on it because he can't see the point and doesn't
No,
think
I've
we can
made
do a good
Tim
job.
comes in to be chair.
But the point is that I think also, and I don't know, I think you don't want a resolution, but I think that committee needs to review its terms of reference and be clear about what its actual purpose is, because I mean, I think it's been a huge frustration, and the Winter Report has shown that.
Yeah,
and we need to actually think more strategically about how we're using our district plan to achieve the outcomes for our citizens.
Yes.
Not just responding to what the government wants us to do. So, you know, I'm happy to remain on it on that basis.
Yep.
But I do think it's important that it has wide representation because it will be making decisions.
And Ref's agreed to come on it, so that's good. I mean, there are some wards that want to have both on it, and that's fine as well. So.
And the only other question I had was number 2, was I support the concept of it. I'm worried about the cost of it and the process of it in terms of the independent members' review of the annual plan and the long-term plan.
Look, they're doing it now. The thing is that we made a decision last time, late in the piece, during the long-term plan, that the Audit and Risk Committee, because of its terms of reference at the moment, was required to check the annual plans and the long-term plan. And it was a process that was very unsatisfactory because the proper process is really, and this is what this does, is make it crystal clear that there is a role, but it's the independent members who play that role. Can
I just say it's only looking at the risks. They're not going through the whole plan.
Only the risk.
It's
in
just
fact,
the
maybe
risk
that
aspect.
needs to say that, because that's what I said when I introduced
so
it.
They're not commenting on what we're spending money on.
An independent review of the risks posed by of the risks in relation to the draft, or risks to the council, isn't it? It's risks.
Well, you could say in relation to the risk management plan or something like that. Yeah, so just say review of the plans in relation to the risk management framework.
Okay. Review.
No, they're not. They're just, it's going to be an overall review.
Yeah. In relation to the risk management framework. Yeah, that's good.
Just in terms of the process, for the District Plan Committee, just taking Yanni's point a bit in relation to amending the terms of reference too, do we need to have a council note or resolution?
No, because we have to come back to council.